Good afternoon everyone, hope you're well. Andy here at Audi Upgrades, continuing the work on this Audi A7 4G Facelift 2017. It's been a busy few weeks. We've got about 85% of everything finished, and now you can see here I'm onto the steering rack and column. So the customer wanted three things kind of related to this area done. Lane departure warning, the ability for the car to stay within the white lines on the road. This car doesn't have it, but it will have, and that involves a new steering control unit here, steering stalk, squib here in the middle and slip ring, which is this here. So you can see the lane departure warning button on the end of the indicator stalk there. The old one did not have it, so I've put that on first just to check it was all working, as the customer supplied that themselves, and it appears to be fine. Second thing is a heated steering wheel, so again you need to change the stalk for another one. So instead of buying one for lane departure warning and no heated steering wheel, he's managed to get one for lane departure warning with heated steering wheel. So kill two birds with one stone in effect. So that's the next thing to do. But the first thing to do is we're going to change the steering column itself, which is a manual steering column. The lever here that you pull down and then you can kind of move the steering yourself, for a new electric steering column with a little button to move it up and down, left and right. And because he has memory seats already, it will give him easy entry option, which means that when you unlock the car and open the door, the steering column and seat move out of the way, and then when you get in the car and start the electrics or start the engine, the seat and steering column will move back to the pre-saved position stored on the memory seat, moving it into the right position ready for the driver to use. So it's a kind of neat little convenience feature, I guess you could call it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you this. So what I will show you though is an electric steering column. This is an electric steering column. The old one is obviously still in, so I need to take that out. This one's a bit heavier, but it sort of goes kind of this way. So the steering wheel, just make sure you can see this. Yeah, the steering wheel goes on this end here, and you can spin. See, if you spin this, the whole kind of thing spins around. This here connects to the intermediate steering shaft, which is another metal pole right at the back, or rod that goes down into the engine bay and up to the front axle and the power steering control unit, power steering system. So this is the steering column. And then on this side, if I turn it upside down, so this is now upside down, these are your two motors. This one here, I think, does, the one at the front does front to back, and this one here does up and down. So yeah, and then you have to replace the cowling that goes, kind of the nice plastic cowling that you see when you normally get in your car, with a new one that's obviously got the button in it to move the steering column up and down. But this is the steering column here, steering column control unit here, wiring. Obviously there's no wiring on that manual steering column, this is just a manual steering column with a big spring on it. So we're going to take this out. You have to put in new bolts when you swap steering columns. You have to, they're kind of like one-time bolts, so I've got all the right bolts just over here to fit when we fit this, and you've also got to make sure the steering wheel, the wheels are aligned at 0 degrees, so they're nice and straight when you detach the steering column from the intermediate steering shaft. And there's a special threaded bolt for that one as well, which you replace with a brand new one as well. So yeah, it sounds pretty scary, maybe, but it's not actually that bad. It's a bit inconvenient to do, but it is doable. I've done a few of these. So yeah, here it is. This is your electric steering column. They're pretty rare to find, to be honest. This one is brand new as well. Yeah, even though it's dated 2017, it's actually never been used before. So nice new steering column. So, because these are about £1,000 from Audi, so I'm going to be very careful with that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I just kind of wanted to show you the setup here, and then I'll show you a video when I'm finished. I'm a bit under the weather at the moment, so hence the croaky voice. But just trying to chip away and hopefully try and get this car finished in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm going to crack on. So many thanks, guys. Cheers, guys. So little update. The steering column is out. If I just put my head torch on and shine, you can see here it's now all removed. So no steering column at all. In fact, it's here next to me on the floor. I'll just pick it up for you. Here it is. This is the old one. As you can see, it's just kind of manual handle here that you pull down to adjust it. It's just a spring coiled system. Basic but very effective. And then obviously, as I showed you earlier, here is the electric version, which is now going in. So let's take that, a little plastic cap for delivery. So yeah, here we go. So I'm going to swap these over. Well, should I say, put the electric one in now. Just straight in here. There's a couple of little lugs actually at the top that allow you to put the column in, and it kind of just holds it in place loosely, I guess. It's the best way of describing it. So you can get all the bolts in, because there's 8 bolts holding it in. So it allows you to just get them all in loose, and then it obviously takes the weight, and then you can tighten them up to the specified torque settings, and then secure at home. So yeah, it looks pretty hairy, but it ain't that bad. So yeah, gonna crack on with that now. All right, cheers. Hey there everyone, this is Andy at Audi Upgrades. Hope you're well. A little update on this electric steering column retrofit as part of the wider retrofits I've been doing on this car, on this 2017 A7 4G facelift, I should be saying. So the steering column is in, as you can see, and it's pretty cramped under there, I'm not going to lie. It's not the easiest job in the world, but it's in. All new bolts, because you can't reuse the same bolts. So all new bolts for everything, and then connected up to the intermediate steering shaft, which is what goes through to the engine bay and connects up to the wheels and power steering system. And then all the wiring, which is kind of under here. It's pretty cramped, but managed to do that. It took quite a while to do that, actually, to be fair, a good few hours to do that. And I've also fitted the heated steering wheel. So this is a heated steering wheel that the customer supplied. He managed to get hold of a heated steering wheel for this vehicle. Even came with an airbag. So swapped all these components over, new steering stalk, new slip ring, new wiring, and then recalibrated the steering, recalibrated the steering angle sensor and end stops, so the car knows the full rotation of the steering wheel, and then the wiring for the heated steering wheel, as a new wiring for the heated steering wheel, and then coding for the heated steering wheel, and then obviously testing it all works, which it does. So what I wanted to do was kind of show you this before I put all the cowling back, with the kind of like the nice plastic cowling that would normally be here. It's just over there. But what I have done is I've left the buttons to control the electric steering column here, just dangling down here, purely for the process, purely for the reason, I should say, so you guys can see this kind of functioning. And yeah, so here it is. You can kind of see the kind of these are the here and here. This green one here is what controls the in and out of the steering column, and the green controls the green one there at the back controls the vertical axis, and the black one here, this one here, controls the horizontal axis. So the steering column will move without any power to the, even with the ignitions not switched on. So for example, this goes this direction normally, so if I do this, you can see it moving all the way in, and then if I move it, let's say down, you can see it moving down and up. Try and do that without dropping it, like that, all the way up. And what it's doing is it's just spinning on a pole, and that pole is like, it's got a screwed thread on it, and it's just threading. I'm just pulling it forward or pulling it back or lifting it up and lifting it down. And if I bring it forward, so you can kind of see the full range of motion there, which is pretty cool. Now, one good thing about this is that the car has got memory seats. So now we can enable easy entry, which means the steering wheel will move out the way from a vertical perspective to allow you to get into the vehicle. And then when you start the engine or start the electrics, it will move back to the pre-stored position. So I'll show you that in a minute, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to move the video camera now and get right under there so you can see it without me in the way. And then I'll show you the kind of the steering column doing its thing nice and close. So I'm just going to move the camera now. Alright, I've managed to balance the camera. Hello, I'm here. I've managed to balance the camera, so if I now use the buttons here in my hand and move the steering column, you can see it doing its thing. So there it goes back and forward. There's your horizontal axis up to the end, and then all the way down like that, and all the way up again. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's the basic principle of the electric steering column. Wind it all the way in and all the way up. So that's its kind of in and upmost position, and this is its lowest and out position. So all the wiring that's on here, this is kind of all taken into consideration when we fit it to make sure there's no snags or pulls or anything like that during the fitment. So yeah, I'm going to just move the camera back now. Okay, so we're back here again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the car electrics on. So I'm just going to lean in, just turn them on. Turn the radio down. Okay, and turn that off, because we don't want that beeping away at us. Yeah. There we go. Now if I press, for example, seat button 1, you can see the steering column moving up, and if I do button 2, you can see it kind of aligning with, you see the seat moving. My finger is there. So you can see it all getting into its position. And if I'll try and I'm trying to do it without pressing, yeah, it's easy to see. But I can't really do that. So you're just going to take my word for it. But you can kind of see it both moving. I'm looking at the camera here. So yeah, it's all stored on the memory seat, and then the easy entry will move out the way and stuff for the driver when they get in and out. I can demonstrate that, half demonstrate that for you now. So if I put it back into position 2, let's say for this driver, so the seat is here, the steering column is here. Now if I turn the electrics off, say I've parked up and I'm going to get out of the car, turn it off, watch the steering column. The steering column moves up and out of the way. And then when I get back in the car, it moves back into position. That's the basic principles of easy entry. I haven't finished doing it all completely yet, but that's the basic principles of it. Turn that off. Doesn't it look cool? So there we go. So there's the electric steering column in. I'm now going to take the steering wheel off, tidy up all the wiring, tidy up all the cowling, get all this trim back, make sure everything's as it should be, and then crack on. But we're nearing the end. So hope that was of interest. Many thanks. See you later, guys.